Hi there. So, this evening I will be doing a kind of show and tell of this little guy, and it is the Hagrid Pop, the Funko Pop, and I think he's really cool. I don't actually have any other Harry Potter pops, but I thought that Hagrid was so cool that I had to get him. He's so much bigger than all the other pops, and he's very well done. He's cool. So I thought instead of just making some sounds and some tapping, I thought I would read out some sort of Hagrid facts. Now, I haven't done any extensive research or writing or even gone into thinking about Hagrid myself. I'm just going to read some facts from Wikipedia, and I'm sure my own opinions will be mixed in there somewhere, because I do love Hagrid as a character, and I also really like Robbie Coltrane, is the actor that played him, and he's Scottish, so I really like how they've done his hair. It's very wild. And his beard. And then he has his nice big brown coat. And then his wand disguised in the umbrella, which is a nice touch. And he looks really cool. I'm not a collector of pops or anything. I only have two. I have this one, and I have a Nemo one, which I actually got as a present. So this is the first one that I really felt compelled to buy for myself. There's just something very special about the Hagrid character. I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way. I love the details on it. Even just like the pleats and the coat in the back. It's cool. Okay, I'm going to start reading a little now. Once the car stops. I'm just going to stand him here for now. Okay. Rubeus Hagrid is introduced in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone as a half-giant and half-human who is the gamekeeper and keeper of keys and grounds of Hogwarts, the primary setting for the first 6 novels. In the third novel, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Hagrid is promoted to Care of Magical Creatures teacher and is later revealed to be a member of the Order of the Phoenix. Hagrid was among just put him over this side for a while. Hagrid was among the characters that Rowling says she created on the very first day. She has explained the source of his name as another Old English word meaning if you were Hagrid, it was a dialect word, you'd had a bad night. Hagrid is a big drinker. He has had a lot of bad nights. In her article, Harry's Fame, Rosemary Goring notes the Forest of Dean as an influence on Rowling's work, and Hagrid is the only character that is directly drawn from the Forest of Dean. According to Goring, Hagrid's dropped word endings are a Chepstow speciality. She also claims that Hagrid is physically modelled on the Welsh chapter of Hell's Angels who'd swooped down on the town and hog bar, huge mountains of leather and hair. You can see the huge mountains of leather and hair. The character of Hagrid and conversations between him, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger in his hut are expository through the series. Due to the fact that the trio frequently discover things about Albus Dumbledore and Hogwarts by talking with Hagrid, and he has a habit of letting slip bits of information. He was also one of the first characters to imply that the idea of thinking of wizards as purebloods and half-bloods is a dated concept. Rowling has stated in an interview that Hagrid was in Gryffindor House during his time as a student. When he comes into possession of an Accrumantura, he is expelled from Hogwarts as his pet is believed to be the monster of Slytherin. However, persuaded by Dumbledore, who at the time was Transfiguration teacher, the headmaster agrees to train Hagrid as gamekeeper, allowing the boy to remain at Hogwarts. By the time Harry attends Hogwarts, Hagrid is also the keeper of the keys and grounds. The former, according to Rowling, means that he will let you in and out of Hogwarts. Part of his job includes leading the first years across the lake in boats upon their initial arrival at Hogwarts. When discussing the killing off of characters in her books, Rowling said that she always knew she was working towards the point where Hagrid carried Harry out alive, but supposedly dead, out of the forest. She said she had planned it from very early on that Harry would walk to his death, accompanied by the ghosts, and that he would emerge in Hagrid's arms. In her own words, that's what always kept Hagrid safe. She said Hagrid would have been natural to kill in some ways, but that the mental image of this moment, a big fatherly Hagrid carrying the limp Harry in his arms, was so strong it decided his fate. She also liked the circular notion of Hagrid both bringing Harry into the world and then bringing him back from the dead. Scottish actor Robbie Coltrane has portrayed Hagrid in all of the film adaptations of Harry Potter novels. Robin Williams approached Chris Columbus, the director of the first film, about participating in the project, but was turned down for the role of Hagrid because the cast was to be all British. Rowling had wanted Coltrane for the role from the start, responding Robbie Coltrane for Hagrid, all in one quick breath when asked who was at the top of her list of casting choices. Coltrane was already a fan of the books and has commented that being part of the Harry Potter franchise was a fantastic thing. Rowling discussed Hagrid's past and future with Coltrane, assisting him in preparing for the role. She also stated that Robbie is just perfect for Hagrid. Quite likable, quite comic. But he had to have, you really do have to sense a certain toughness underneath. And I think Robbie does that perfectly. In Philosopher's Stone, Hagrid is mentioned as being twice as tall as the average man and nearly 5 times as wide, but in the film he is portrayed as being 8'6", that's 2 meters 59 centimeters, and in later books he is said to be 3 times as wide. Hagrid is known for his thick West Country accent. Being a half-giant, he is less vulnerable to jinxes and spells that fool humans. In the Order of the Phoenix, when Umbridge and some other wizards come to remove him from Hogwarts, he fights back. They try to jinx and stun him, but the spells just bounce off him, because the giant inherited resistance to magic. Hagrid also shows this resilience at the end of the Half-Blood Prince, during the chapter Fight of the Prince. Withstanding the Death Eater's powerful curses, some potions are also ineffective with him, such as Polyjuice Potion, which is designed for human use only. He has a friendly, soft-hearted personality and is easily driven to tears, as seen in his very first scene when he drops Harry off at the Dursleys in Philosopher's Stone. He is very loyal to his peers, especially Dumbledore, to whom he refers as the greatest wizard in the world multiple times. As first seen in Philosopher's Stone, he becomes extremely angry whenever anyone insults Dumbledore around him, a mistake made by Vernon Dursley, who called Dumbledore a crackpot old fool. He is also very loyal to Harry, suffered several times during the series because of his loyalty, and had to go into hiding twice to avoid prison. Rowling says of Hagrid, Hagrid was always supposed to be this almost elemental force. He's like the king of the forest or the green man. He's this semi-wild person who lives on the edge of the forest. Following his expulsion from Hogwarts, the Ministry of Magic broke Hagrid's oak wand and forbade him to perform magic. Hagrid keeps the pieces of his wand in a pink umbrella and performs small spells from time to time. However, he was technically forbidden to do magic until the third book, and since he is not a fully qualified wizard, he will always be a bit inept as compared to other adult wizards, but occasionally surprises everyone, himself included, by bringing off more impressive bits of magic. He also has magical abilities that stem from his giant blood. For example, in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, many of the stunning spells thrown at him by ministry officials simply bounce off him. Also, being half giant gives Hagrid some level of superhuman strength, which allowed him to bend the barrel of a shotgun with one hand. Gop is the giant half-brother of Hagrid. Gop and Hagrid were born of the same mother, the giant Fridwulfa. Gop is about 16 feet tall, so about 4.9 meters, which Hagrid claims is small for a giant. His knuckles are the size of cricket balls. The other giants were bullying Gop, and this is a factor in Hagrid's decision to bring him to the Forbidden Forest. Big and dim, he only knows a few words in English, and his manners are wild and unpredictable. At first, Gop seems different, and his brother's attempts to civilize him, preferring to spend his time tearing down trees. In the Goblet of Fire, the truth about Hagrid's parents is revealed. His father, who is never named in the stories, married a giantess, Fridwulfa. Fridwulfa left Rubeus to his father's care after his birth. According to Hagrid, she was not very maternal. Later, she gave birth to Gop. She died long before Hagrid returned to the Giants in the Order of the Phoenix. Hagrid describes his father as a tiny little man who he would pick up with one hand and place on the dresser at the age of 6. Hagrid clearly felt great affection for him. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, he says that his father's death, when Hagrid was in 3rd year at Hogwarts, was one of his saddest memories. Hagrid had a long-standing friendship with Dumbledore, who became a sort of surrogate father for Hagrid after his father's death. It was Professor Dumbledore who stood up for Hagrid upon his expulsion and got him the job as gamekeeper and keeper of the keys and grounds at Hogwarts. Hagrid, in turn, was a loyal friend. Professor Dumbledore would recruit Hagrid as an agent of the Order of the Phoenix during both Wizarding Wars. Hagrid was also trusted by Dumbledore to rescue Harry from his parents' collapsing home upon their deaths, and later was sent to retrieve Harry on his 11th birthday, tell him of his wizarding identity, and take him to Diagon Alley to purchase his supplies and equipment. Hagrid has been protective of Dumbledore and defended his honour against those who speak badly about Dumbledore. Hagrid refers to Dumbledore as a great man, and Dumbledore continued to help Hagrid and comfort him when he was in distress. Hagrid was stricken by grief when Dumbledore died and wept openly at the funeral services after having carried Dumbledore's body to where his tomb was to be. Hagrid keeps a variety of pets, including some which the wizarding community considers impossible to domesticate. They are not always wrong. Rowling has said that Hagrid has little interest in tamer magical creatures because of the lack of challenge, although he has a large but cowardly dog, a boarhound named Fang. Hagrid's love of dangerous magical creatures is central to the plot of several books of the series. Aragog was an acromatula, an enormous sentient spider capable of speech, who made a unique clicking noise as he moved in search of prey. Hagrid raised Aragog from an egg as a Hogwarts student, keeping him inside a cupboard. In his 3rd year at Hogwarts, Hagrid was caught talking to Aragog in the dungeons by Tom Riddle, who alleged that Aragog was the monster of Slytherin and that Hagrid had opened the Chamber of Secrets. In fact, it was Riddle who had opened the Chamber of Secrets, and the monster was actually a basilisk. I hope that you found this relaxing, and that you may have even learned a little thing or two about Hagrid. I hope that you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.